Who jumps out of perfectly good airplanes in the name of science? Mr. C.
Well, happy Tuesday to you. Already Tuesday this week. And you've got your BFFs out, right? So just every day your best friends forever, of course, as a student. So your journal and your lesson planner. Now, just a reminder, I made this announcement yesterday, but here's my intention. Right the week of semester exam. Mr. C, are you fast forwarding to May? I am. So, anyway, pardon me. That Coke. But anyway, in May, I'm going to give you all of your tests from the third quarter with the answers. So they'll be study guides. And then I'm going to give you study guides from the textbook. I'm going to run those off and staple them together and give you those. And my test is going to be built on old tests from the third quarter and all of the study guides from the fourth quarter. So it's going to be hard work to triple R because we will have covered a lot of information. But it's going to be easy peasy to study for the final, the semester exam. Because you're going to have everything you need to study. So it's going to work out really, really good. So I want to just make a few comments about the snow leopard. I love that video except for one part, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I loved all the divine designs of the snow leopard. You probably caught its beautiful camouflage coat, fur coat. And that fur coat is the thickest fur coat of any cat. Did you catch that? Amazing. Not an accident. God designed it for high altitude and for low temperatures. So, how about Mars? Not. Because it's not designed to breathe CO2. But anyway, so it also has wide nostrils for taking, and larger nostrils for taking in a lot more air because the amount of oxygen is a lot less the higher up you go. So it has that. It has the big pads, massive paws that act like snowshoes and keep it up on top of the snow. So it's got that. It's got that long tail, thick tail for balance. And then sharp claws, obviously, and it's got massive jaws, sharp teeth. They didn't mention that, but trust me, it does. It's got all of that. The hind legs are longer, so it can jump 30 feet in a leap. Wow. So, way to go, God, just the way he designed the snow leopard. And I'll come back to that in a little bit, okay? So anyway, if you'll take out your evolution pillars chart, we are going to use it. We are going to go over that briefly, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, coming up in just a little bit. Woo! This period is ripping, and I've got a video to show you at the end of the period, and I've got photos to show you. Wow! I've got to really hustle. So, anyway, we might be going Mach 1 here pretty quick. That's the speed of sound, one time the speed of sound. It's about 750 miles an hour, Mach 1. So, anyway, I talked to a pilot friend earlier today, and he said we usually go Mach 0.77 Mach, which maximum they can go, if the wind's really blowing behind them, maybe 600 miles an hour. So, a little more, maybe. So, a little more than that, maybe 650. So, anyway, don't get off track. Okay, I won't. So, I wanted to just go over your Friday test really quick because you have a quiz on Friday of this week. A quiz. Mr. C, isn't there half day Thursday? Yeah. And we'll triple R on Thursday. So, quiz. How many points? 25 max. 20, 25. Like last week. One pager. One page. That's it. So, some of you misunderstood, and I think it was test 5 for you 8s, not last week's, but when I asked
for your GoTappy package in connection with your superpowers. Some of you told me what your individual superpowers were. That's not what I wanted. I wanted what the GoTappy package is, which makes up your superpower. GOTAPPI. GOTAPPI. G, gifts. O, opportunities that God gives you. T, talents. A, abilities. P, physical appearance. P, great purpose. P, personality. God gave you all of this. He used your DNA for a lot of this that he gave you, and that's not an accident. My mom and dad gave me my DNA. Yes, they did, but God superintended that, watched over that, and made sure. It says that in Psalm 139, you recall. You form my inward parts. You weave me in my mother's womb. Okay? I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. David wouldn't be praising God so much if he hadn't designed him, and he was admitting it. So anyway, God gave you your DNA. So anyway, G-O, gifts, opportunities, talents, abilities, the 3 Ps. I, for made in God's image. He made you in his image with all of the creativity and hyper emotions and way more intelligent than animals and dominion over the animals and all of those things. So anyway, that's your GoTappy package. Gifts, opportunities, talents, abilities, physical appearance, purpose, personality, and made in God's image. Astronomy, the major thing about Sirius, brightest. What causes Sirius to produce different colors of light? Earth's atmosphere, which bends or refracts the light into different colors. Like the ice pillars. Same kind of deal. Okay, refraction. Bends light. The distance light travels in a year, a light year. The universe's 2 major adjectives. Huge! And then empty. God designed it with nothing between the stars. You know, those 10 to the 24 stars. Nothing between them. Galaxies are mostly empty. Nothing in between stars. Why did he make it so big? So we'd go, wow, what a God. That's why. And that's what I do. Awesome. You are awesome, God. And you made all that out of nothing. How'd you do that? Instantaneously. By command. Nick. You're amazing. Okay. That's why we sing worship songs, by the way, on Sunday in churches or Saturday or whatever day you go to church. That's why we sing worship songs. That's why we get on YouTube sometimes, like I do. Maybe your parents do. And play worship music. Or your parents might turn on your sound system in your house and play worship music. That's why. Because God is awesome. That's why. And he's gracious. He loves us, forgives us, gives us eternal life. Yeah, that's why we worship him. Yep. Okay. Universe's 2 major adjectives again. Huge and empty. Mostly empty. The foaming pillars. Here they are. I may ask any of these questions from last week's test. The foaming pillars, fossils, no tweeners, no tweener fossils, no ape men. Proof of the flood, all the sediment layers buried all those animals and plants and humans very quickly in those sediment layers. Remember, the sediment layers in between aren't eroded. They were laid down rapidly. They didn't have time to erode. Like evolutionists say, oh yeah, billions of years. No, no, no. There wasn't time for erosion between those sediment layers. That destroys your idea about those sediment layers are really old. No, they're not. No, they ain't. Nope. So anyway, old age, you already know a bunch of evidences that the Earth is young. Doesn't prove the Earth is young, but it's a great indirect scientific indicator. Like, Earth is too hot. The moon is too hot. The moon has moonquakes. It shouldn't have any. It should be dead seismically. Do you know what has... I want to keep wanting to say earthquakes. Moonquakes. Something going on inside. Probably caused by that internal heat. So, same deal on Earth. Okay? Then we've got the sun. It's too faint and it's not bright enough
to be billions of years old. Well, that's because it's not most likely billions of years old. It's only probably thousands of years old. If it were millions or billions of years old, it would be way bigger and way brighter. So God gave us a just right star. So way to go, God. So that's the O pillar. Then there's the A pillar, the accident pillar. Law of cause and effect says can't be an accident. Nope. Things are caused to happen in science. The law of biogenesis. Life is caused by existing life already. So living things they're too complex and they have their equipment and instincts right now. They can't wait around. So, and that's why there was an aspect of the video about snow leopards that I wasn't crazy about. Do you notice what they said about the snow leopard? That it adapted to its environment. Oh, sure. How is it going to gradually wait around to have that thick fur coat over thousands and thousands and millions of years? It would die. It would die of hypothermia. Hypothermia. Not enough heat. Underheat. So, hypothermia. It would be dead if it didn't have all of its equipment and its instincts to use right away. It would be dead. Doesn't make sense. So the adapted idea, that's evolutionists, kind of little code word for evolved. So nope. It had to have its equipment and instincts right, bam, now. So anyway, and then mutations and natural selection are not a good mechanism for making living things change for the better. Bleep. You know about mutations. They harm living things. Or they're fatal. And they're really rare. And good ones, you never really see good ones. Slightly helpful or beneficial, but not really great. So mutations don't work and natural selection doesn't work. All natural selection does is, if a living thing changes, like with mutations, and now it doesn't match its environment as well, what's natural selection going to do? Sayonara, out of there. So, au revoir. So, arrivederci. Goodbye, na. So, natural selection doesn't make change. It gets rid of living things that change and not match their environment. And then Big Bang issues. Explosions don't cause complexity. They don't cause designs. They cause randomness. They cause chaos. They don't cause rotation. And galaxies are rotating. Stars in the galaxies are rotating. Planets are rotating as they revolve around those stars. And moons going around the planets are rotating. They shouldn't be. You know what explosions do? Here's all they do. Straight line explosion. Now, Mr. C, isn't the universe expanding? It is. There is some evidence it is. We're not 100% sure. If you've heard of the red shift, I'm not going to go into it. But the red shift, where light from far objects seems to be shifted to the red end of the spectrum. Now, it may or may not show expansion of the universe. But if it is showing expansion of the universe, it wasn't the Big Bang that caused it. Who caused it? The Lord. The Lord caused it. He's the Lord of everything. He's the Lord of the universe. And he would have caused that. So, and anyway, what else about the Big Bang and its issues? Where did the particles come from? The questions I had on the test. Ask a question. Where did the particles come from? They couldn't come from nowhere. But that evolutionists go, yeah, nowhere. They just, showed up somehow. Oh, yeah, right, sure. And then, why did the particles attract? They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have had enough gravity to attract each other into a big singularity that would collapse and then cause tremendous heat and pressure and blow up and cause the Big Bang. Wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have been enough gravity to cause that. Evolutionists don't want to talk about that stuff, though. Where'd the particles come from? Don't talk to me about it. Nothing to see here. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah? Why did the particles attract? Nothing to see here. Don't talk about it. Denial. about that. So don't discuss that with me. And there's a rotating and the repeating pattern of the galaxies. Explosions don't cause patterns. Shouldn't be there. So anyhow. So any and all of that could be on the quiz on Friday. Now I want to show you this. So it's pretty cool. Some pictures. Okay, first I want to show you this. Explain it to you. See the little symbolism on the side, on the wheels, on the side of the hood of the car? That little black horse? That's a Ferrari, Mr. C. All right, thumb up if you've ever ridden in a Ferrari. Some of you might have. Thumb up if you have. Mr. Phillip might tell me. Mr. C, thumb up if you've ridden in a Ferrari. Would you like to? Sure, yeah. Do you have to? No. No, it just would be cool. I'm showing this red Ferrari to you for a reason. Let's say you owned a red Ferrari, okay, and you regularly went out and got in your Ferrari that was parked in your driveway, just like this. So you got in it, and people would come around. They'd notice your Ferrari and ask you questions about it. They'd say, "How fast would it go?" "Over 200, yeah, on this straightaway." So, you ever gotten any tickets driving it? Oh yeah, yeah. It's hard not to drive too fast in it. Yeah. I've got a friend who used to drive in a Ferrari in Italy, and in some places it's sort of unlimited speed limits. So he's been going 200 miles an hour in a Ferrari. Okay, I can't imagine. So, but anyway, so the people would come up and ask you about your Ferrari and talk to you about it. You go, "Oh yeah, it's really fast." Yeah. And sometimes you'd do this, and people would hear you and wonder about this. You'd, go, you'd make engine transmission sounds of your Ferrari, and people would just kind of wonder about that and ask questions. Why do you do that? So, and then finally someone said to you one day, "Hey, I hear the engine on this Ferrari is unbelievable. Could you open up the hood and show it to us?" And you said, "I'd rather not. I don't want to get it dirty." People go, "Oh, what kind of excuse is that?" And finally people bothered you and bugged you about it so much that they finally convinced you to open up the hood. Okay? This is this little story is my analogy for the evolution idea. It's like having a red Ferrari that people talk about, that, "Oh, it really goes fast," and, brag about it. Well, evolution. "Oh yeah, evolution's great. Yeah, mutations are a great way to make living." No, they're not. They're rare, they're harmful, and fatal in many cases. They don't make living things better on a regular basis. They do the opposite. And then, natural selection doesn't make things change for the better. It gets rid of them. So neither of these two ideas work as a mechanism to make evolution happen. So what are they left with? Nothing. No way to change living things. See ya. Yeah. God made everything. And the evolution idea is so weak and lame. Now look at this. Evolution is like having a flashy red Ferrari with that under the hood. Nothing. No engine that'll make it go anywhere. Not even 1 meter. Now if you took it out of gear and it was on a slant, that's the only way you'd get it moving. Gravity. So evolution is like having a fancy, flashy red Ferrari, but no engine under the hood, so it won't go anywhere. The evolution idea won't go anywhere. It can't make change like is claimed. And that's the data. That's the science data. Every pillar. No tweeners, no ape men. Great flood. Old age. Tons of indirect data for a young age. So not enough time for evolution to happen. Accident pillar, it's all an accident. No, it's not. Law of cause and effect, law of biogenesis, living things too complex. Living things need our equipment and instincts right now. DNA is so complex. A great question to ask is, if someone said, I really believe in evolution. Okay, then I have a question for you. Do you believe DNA could form by itself? Mutations and natural selection produce DNA with its billions of components in just the right order? Really? I bet you don't really believe that, do you? I have a quote from an evolutionary geneticist. Geneticist. I shared this with you, 8th graders, in the fall. And this guy said, I don't know any colleague in genetics who believes DNA evolved. No one I know believes DNA evolved. But they have to say it to be politically correct. Or they might lose their job, or they might lose their grant money. So, and then they'd have to, get another job, and they don't want to get another job. So, again, this geneticist, like PhD in genetics, believes in evolution, said, no one I know, though, actually believes DNA evolved. At least they say they believe in evolution when they're pushed because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to be politically incorrect. Could cost them their job. So, anyway. Evolution. It's like a red Ferrari with no engine under the hood. Okay. I better tell you about your homework. And Mr. Phillip, if you'd write this down, that would be great. So here's your homework. And then you're going to see a video on perseverance, just about 2 minutes, perseverance video. So, and then after that, you'll have some time to work on your homework. Okay? All right, your homework is this. Read pages 77 and 78. 2 pages, that's it. About the atom and kind of about the history of how the atom developed. Now, there are a lot of models how the atom evolved. One of them was electrons going around the outside of the nucleus. That's sort of a common model, even presented today. But that's not the current model of an atom. You're going to read about that. So you're going to read pages 77 to 78. And then I need 6 bullet facts in your journal for you. The 6 most important parts about atoms from page 77, and then 6 more from 78. Neat, complete. You've got lines in your journal. Neat, complete bullet facts. Not sentences, but really nice bullet facts. So on atoms. So get all the important things in there, 77, 78, a total of 12 bullet facts, 6 on each page. So I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Phillip, and he is going to show the perseverance video on the latest about perseverance and how it's working. Are things going okay with perseverance? Mr. C, did something go wrong? You'll see. So, about perseverance. And then, after that, you'll have time to crack your book, 77, 78, and get going on reading the 2 pages and then 6 bullet facts from each page in your journal. So, Mr. Phillip, if you'd show that video on perseverance, thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow on Downhill Day.